our partners for Stupidity Autos. Put your hands together for them. You don't know if you're going to win a free car today. How many of you want a car? See them, I know them now. Even if you have a brand new car, you still want a car. So, okay, let me answer that. We also have Penard cards. Please put your hands together for them. Some of our partners also include UNICEF for the Generation Unlimited. We have our media partner Tech Cabal. Okay, so before we keep it going, how many of you know where we are? Who knows where the venue is? You answered the right question. Our marketing guys here, what she needs to do is just put in a word for you and you get a car. Right, Philip? You know. So how many of you know where we are? You already have the answer. You already have the answer, girl. Where are we? Where are we?
Fishing Motors Show.
Yes, we are the institutional showroom. One part for you, one part for me, about 2040. There's one free car. So I'd like to bring up stage the head of marketing, Celine Sterling. Please put your hands together for her. Thank you, Julie. Hi, good evening, everyone. I think you just really baptized now. It's pretty as well. Celine Motors, the sole distributor of Mitsubishi Motors in Nigeria, and also subsidiary of the CFA Group, that is going to celebrate its 120th year this year in Nigeria. So please give us a round of applause, because to be in Nigeria for 120 years will be breeze. So I mean, we basically are your one-stop solution for all your automotive needs. So today, you're in our Celine Motor showroom where we sell SUVs and pickups, but we also have brands such as Suzuki. I know a lot of you are seeing the Expressos on the street, and they are seeing, so you can actually enjoy your ride in them. And we have other products with theater equipment such as construction equipment. We have also celebrate. So basically all things mobility you can find with CFA. We also have an amazing company called Luxera, which is our latest baby. So you can use fleet vehicles with us, we maintain them, etc. So we're very excited to have you here. Our tagline for Mitsubishi Motors is Drive Your Ambition. So it's basically inspiring young professionals to accomplish great things in Nigeria. So we are sure that this platform is also going to inspire you. So very much for some of us are going to drive our ambition home today. So for me, we're fine with just the Suzuki. All right. Right. I feel like on your lives, like when there's SUV, like when you're giving us Suzuki. All right, beautiful. So we keep it going, and we have literally all of our panel speakers here. We have the amazing Olufisayo Oludare. Please put your hands together for him. We have Oreoluwa Boboye. That's it. Like, if you guys are not shouting, why are you not like, I don't get it. We have Celine Lafoucre, who's the Chief Field Officer of UNICEF. And so I'm going to bring her up for a few minutes now. I know she's here, so. All right, please put your hands together to welcome Celine, who's just going to introduce us to Generation Unlimited. Celine, you're welcome. Put your hands together for her, please.
Thank you so much, and good afternoon to everyone. So my name is Celine Lafoucre. It's impossible to pronounce, even for a French person, so don't worry. I'm French, and I have had the honor of being in Nigeria, here in Lagos, for the last year. I'm the chief of the field office, UNICEF field office in Lagos, and the lead for Generation Unlimited Nigeria, aka Genu Niger. What Generation Unlimited Nigeria is all about is basically, you guys all know, I'm sure, what the UNICEF mandate is all about, is leaving no one behind. And we are focusing on young people from 10 to 24 originally, but we moved to the age of 30 because Nigeria is Nigeria, such a huge population. between 10 to 24, do you know how many young people there are in Nigeria today? 25 million, 10 to 24. If we go to 30 and we take them from 0, it's 100 million. It's massive. And a lot of them need support to transition from any kind of learning to any kind of earning. So that's what we do in GenU. And I want to say a big, big thank you, a very special thank you to Joberman, because Joberman has been and still is today a very historic partner of GenU, the very first to come on board, to believe in the mission, to believe in the mandate, and to come and join us and sign with us and really get onto the venture. That's a bit weird. Bigger one. Come on. Let's hear it for Joberman. So the venture for GenU is basically to say those young Nigerians need help. Sometimes not. They need to be guided by all of us partners. We need to take our responsibilities, whether we are development partners, whether we're private sector partners, whether we're youth. We have young influencers. We have 52 young people throughout the countries working with us on the platform. It's a public-private youth partnership platform, the first one in the world. Let's hear it for that. And basically what the platform does is make sure that we align on the support we provide to young people, whether it's about skills, whether it's about connecting the whole of Nigeria to the internet and making sure all young people have access to internet, whether it's about digital learning, workplace readiness skills, that could be hard. That however young people may be qualified, sometimes the soft skills are missing, the attitude is not there, the understanding of what an employer may want to keep that employee and to actually make it a leader, because that's the subject of today. And also to get them engaged and make sure that their voices are heard. So that's what we do. Today, as I mentioned, GenU is working with Joberman, of course, and their wonderful platform. There are partners like Microsoft, Google, PwC, Unilever, you name them. We have quite a large partnership at the moment, and we have a wonderful digital platform called Yoma. You can find it on yoma.africa, and everything is free, and you have access to fantastic training, whatever training you may need, whether it's accountancy, I don't know, or it is simply polishing up your digital skills or learning how to write up a CV or network, etc. And you'll see it's all built on a blockchain. So as you go along the journey, your CV gets updated, and you also have challenges you can take part in, and you can earn zlatos. Don't ask me what zlatos are. That's a South African word, but that's basically points that you can earn there for being active and actually becoming a citizen of tomorrow. So what we believe in GenU is that youth don't need to be spoon-fed. They are part of the solution. And in Nigeria, what has struck me for the last year that I've been here is the amazing, not only resilience of some of them, but the amazing innovative power of the youth of this country. So we're here to support in a very humble manner, but you're driving this train. So welcome to all of you to GenU Niger.
Thank you so very much, Celine. Just before you go, do you want to reiterate the Yoma.Africa?
Yoma.Africa. So that's a digital platform on which we embed all of our partners' offerings. They are amazing, amazing offerings. Yoma.Africa. Just Yoma.Africa, register and just enjoy. Everything's for free.
Thank you so very much, Celine. Please put your hands together for her. Like I said, you know, looking at, you got that right for me. Fantastic. Yoma.Africa. Yoma, like Y-O-M-A. Y-O-M-A.Africa. That's all. Beautiful. Okay, so moving forward, like we had said earlier, you know, one of the benefits you stand to gain when you join this community are things like this, right? You know, you have access to free masterclasses that you probably will thousands, you know, to be a part of. Okay, so we're diving right into it. The main reason why quite a number of you came here on time. Okay, beautiful. If you came here on time, please put your hands together for yourself. When I say on time, Dorothy, just clap for yourself small. You came here on time. Okay, beautiful. Now there's one quote that keeps me going each time, I have to, probably do something new, or I have to try something new. I have to invest in myself and spend some extra money. All right. And one of the quotes that keeps me going is, everyone wins when I am better. All right. I want you to affirm that to yourself. Everyone wins when the leader is better. And the truth is, you and I are leaders on every farm, all leaders, right? So you're a leader in your home, you're a leader in, how many of us are firstborn children here? Firstborn children, beautiful. How many of us are married with children? Okay, children are coming, it's fine. Okay, so on different categories or on different levels, we're all leaders. Okay, and it keeps getting better, or people around you get better when people around you get better when you learn. People around you are happier when you are better, when you are more skilled, when you're more knowledgeable. Okay, so we're diving right into it. And one of the topics, the major topic we have here today is drive your ambition. Okay, we're driving an ambition through what? Attaining transformational leadership. Okay, so I'm going to be bringing our amazing panels up who I'm very sure have, beautiful words for us, encouraging and motivational words to, to help us, to spur us to do better. Okay, so today I'll be inviting, just to call them, I'd like them to please come up stage. I'd like to have Olufisayo Oludare. Olufisayo Oludare is here. He's the founder and CEO at Vanshio. Olufisayo, okay, you could go this way. Yes, please. Welcome, Fisayo. Good to have you. Okay, and then we also have, I'm going to call him last. We also have Celine. Celine is Celine Lafoucault, the Chief Field Officer from UNICEF. You're welcome. Celine used to be my neighbor when we were living back then in France, right? Please clap for her. Put your hands together for her. And here we also have Oreoluwa Boboye. Like, guys, if you are sitting down, if you walk in Joberman and you're sitting, I'm going to take this part. I don't get it, sir. How can they be sitting? I mean, the bus is coming up. That's the CEO of Joberman. I see some people saying, well, what's going on? Who is that? That's the CEO of Joberman. Okay, rich people like us are very humble. We don't used to, you get it? We don't used to show ourselves. All right, beautiful. I know that you guys are also expecting to have Bola Atai here, but she's unavoidably absent. She, got called up for a last minute, engagement. So just put your hands together for her, even while she's not here. I'm sure she's somewhere going to, trying to watch and catch up with us. So we're super excited to have everyone here. Thank you all so much for coming. I'd like to have an extra microphone, please. Welcome, sir. Good to have you. Okay, beautiful. In the event where we don't have all our mics, I'll just share, we can all share together. So we're here today for a very significant topic. Welcome, Oreoluwa, welcome. Welcome, Celine, and welcome, Olufisayo Oludare. So I'll get right into it, okay? And like I said earlier, when the leader wins when everyone is better when the leader is better. Everyone wins when the leader is better. So I'd like you to tell us. I'll start with you. Beautiful. As the CEO of Joberman, one of the countries. Not to worry, we can share this. Okay, fantastic. As the CEO of Joberman Oreoluwa, one of the country's biggest talent recruitment companies, what leadership qualities do you look out for in potential hires? Okay, I think you can use it.
Can you hear me? Okay, good. Good evening, everyone. Okay. Okay. Leadership quality. Wonderful. Good. So I will start. As much as possible, I will speak to the composition of my team right now. So I have a bunch of smart individuals. And I say this from a point of, and I'm not trying to gas you guys. Okay? It's just important to say that. So number one for me is the ability to lead yourself, right? So you must be able to show that you know you can lead yourself, and self-leadership comes from self-knowledge. So to be able to lead a pack or to be able to lead anything, it means that you have either an idea of the people you're leading or where you're going, or both, right? So it's either you know where you're going or you know the people you're leading, because, and if you know both, makes a lot of sense, makes the work easy. But if you know one, you can patch up the other. So if you know yourself, right, it means that you are, at least you've indicated to a large extent that you can lead other people. So for you to show that, it means that you know yourself. So I ask questions around self-knowledge. Who are you? Tell me who you are. And for the people I hired and interviewed, I tell them, please don't tell me what is in your CV because I read it, right? So it's more around, this is who I am. This is my personality. This is what keeps me going. This is what discourages me. And you are only able to find that from deliberate self-knowledge. That for me is the most important thing. And of course, you have to be smart.
Thank you so much, Ariolua. That's beautiful. If I heard you clearly, it's pretty much self-awareness. How aware are you, about yourself? Thank you so very much for that. Okay, so I would like to take the questions round. Okay, so we can. So I think I'd start with I'd go to Olufisayo. By the way, Olufisayo, I should say big congratulations on your award. I mean,
thank you.
Where you got the FinTech award recently. Right, congratulations. Please put your hands together for them. That's a big deal, guys. That's a very big deal. Congratulations to Advance You. Okay, so to Olufisayo, as the founder and CEO of Advance You, I'd like to tweak the question a bit. What inspires you every day? What inspires you to lead?
Good afternoon or good evening, everyone. So that question, I can talk about it for the whole night. Can you hear me? Hello? Can you hear me? Is it clear? Yeah, so that question is very broad for me because I can talk about it all night, right? What inspires me to lead? It's not because some people need to be led, but it's because of a particular vision that I have, right? Now, my vision is going somewhere. I need to work with the best people to help us get to this vision. That is why, that's what inspires me to lead. Now, my own vision as the founder and CEO of Advance You, our vision is to provide easy financial access, right? Sounds simple. But in Nigeria, it's not so straightforward because I'll be honest with you, I made very wrong hires, very wrong. And it got to the point where I'm like, I'm not going to leave this company for this person. Somebody has to leave. So, but when you look at the other people that believe in your vision, that are doing whatever they need to do, that stay up all night, that do more than what they're paid to do, you remind yourself, you can't stop. You have to keep going on this journey. There are many times I sit down, early days, and they're thinking, where's salary coming from this month?
Right.
you know. But when you see the people, when you come to work the next day and you see these people, bright-eyed, smart people, trying to, work on this your vision, you will find that inspiration. You will, because you don't want to disappoint all these people. Some of them are married, some of them have kids, some of them have other family members they're taking care of. So you have to wake up and be determined to keep going at that vision. And of course, you have to surround yourself with the best people. I can't say 100% I've done that. I mean, maybe 70%, but that's part of growing as a leader anyway. So I think, was I able to answer your question?
Pretty much.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you
you
so very much for that. If we heard you clearly, one of the things that inspires you are your team members.
Yes.
Like you having to show up for them literally every
One of them
single
is
day.
here.
Oh, beautiful.
That's him.
Where's he, him, she?
No.
Hi, Emmanuel. Thank you for coming. Please put your hands together for Emmanuel. Thank you so very much. Thank you for that, Olufisaya. So I'll move to Celine. I'd like Celine to just tell us about your leadership journey. I mean, having to move from France and then you're here, tell us about your leadership journey. Share one key lesson you have learned since you became a leader and then moved back to Nigeria and, actively leading a team of different individuals.
Thank you. Moving from France to here, oh boy. I started moving to London, then I moved to Belgium, then I moved to Latin America, then I moved to Asia, and then I moved to Africa. So it was a long journey, but it's also the reflect of the long journey, because let me drop this one. Let me call the elephant in the room. Being a woman and being a leader doesn't happen overnight, right? And that journey was tough in some parts, unexpected in others. I think I was very much what people describe as the typical profile of a woman, which is often thinking that we have to be perfect in the way we master the technical parts before we can even start thinking about applying to leaders or leadership posts. And I was lucky enough that I was headhunted, but that shows that I didn't have the confidence I needed to actually apply for those posts to get there before. So what I'm trying to say here today is that technical leadership to me is important. When you become a leader, you have to be able to get down and put your hands in the dirt and actually do it if there's no one else to actually do it. You've got to be able to do that at any time and be accountable for it. That is massively important. But do not think as women, and sorry for talking only to women, but do not think as women, I'm sure there's men who think exactly the same, that you've got to be 100% perfect technically before you can actually go to those leadership posts, because try them. If you have the fiber, if you can lead, if you can be an inspiring leader, if you have a vision, that's very important. You need to have a vision. You need to go somewhere. Otherwise, what are you leading? But what is important to me in terms of qualities for being a leader is accept feedback. Don't just give it. Accept it as well. From the cleaner, from the doorman. Accept it from everyone. It's called feed forward. You need to be able to accept that. Look at yourself in the mirror every day and think, what can I do better today? And be accountable for your actions, because you can't ask your staff to be accountable for everything that they do if you're not accountable for what you do and for what they do. And then you'll become a real leader. That to me is the most important part.
Thank you so much, Celine. Thank you so very much for that. Speaking about accountability, I really love your point of view from that. Okay, so I'll go to Olua now. And Celine said something about being accountable, looking out for certain qualities and everything in between, accepting feedback. All right. And so I would ask you that as a team leader, how do you develop your team to become leaders themselves?
You need to model it flat out. You cannot ask what you cannot give. You need to model it. If you want accountability, you model accountability. And that's the only way you can tell someone to go jump, fly, and they do that. Not necessarily because you have all the knowledge or all the technical know-how, but the fact that they can trust you enough to stand by what model over time, right? So you model trust, you model accountability, and then you every day give them a reason to be excited about what they're doing. That's your job, actually, as a leader. Just piggybacking on what he said. You every day have to give your team the reason to come to work. You are the chief excitement officer.
Did you guys get that? I love it.
Okay,
I love it.
You are supposed to create that spark. So if every day you're unable to do that, know that you have failed one way or the other, right? Yeah. So that for me is how I've tried to do it. I'm still in the school of leadership. I can say that I know it all. And it becomes a lot interesting when you are working with smart young people. You can't tell them what to do. So the best thing for you is to paint a picture of where you're going. They will find a way.
Well.
They will find a way.
Fantastic. Thank you so very much for that. I mean, you said something about, trust, about them trusting you enough to be able to follow you. I'd like to ask this from literally everyone now. Now, I understand that trust is an integral part of transformational leadership. Like if people don't trust you, then why should they follow you? Right. But I would like to ask this, what can a leader typically do to earn and build trust? Because, in Nigeria, there's something they say, which in recent times, you probably have trained all your staff, you've invested in them, and then you just hear that they serve you breakfast. Who understands what that is? They serve you big breakfast. Okay, Celine, let me make you understand that. So it's a lingo in Nigeria where they say when they serve you breakfast, that means how do I explain that? They have broken your hearts, like they've shattered your hearts. All right. After you have invested in them, you have a team, you have trained them, you probably send them to Asia for a leadership course, you send them to South Africa for a leadership course, and they come back and they just tell you, hi, Celine, thank you for all you've done, but I'm moving forward. Right. How are you able to, how are you able to build and, and the trust of your followers to make them, trust you enough that, okay, I feel like, Oroluwa is leading us right. I can trust him. What are the things that you can do to earn and build trust? And these questions goes for everyone. Yes, sir.
So I'll say it's in the little things. So you don't need to do the grand thing to earn trust. It's in the little things. You say something, you do it. That's it. You say something, you do it. Might mean that you don't say a lot of things, right? So probably might mean that you're a cautious speaker as a leader, right? So you say it, you do it. And by the way, so the scenario you painted about training people and then they decide to leave, right? It's part of it, right? It's part of life. It's part of career. I as much as possible, and my team, they know this. I want my team members to be excited about telling me about their career advancement, even though it's not with me. Yeah. And that's where you need to get to as a leader. That's actually how you know that you've cracked it. When the people you're leading, they are able to share their most their high points and their low points with you, because you have modeled vulnerability and they are vulnerable, right? Leadership is like relationship, to be honest. It's just that you are now the one, like, taking the lead as the leader in that relationship. Okay, let me not say everything.
I like what you said. He said something about modeling. Okay, so over to you, Celine.
It's in the coffee, right? That you serve in the morning, isn't it? The answer is in the coffee. No, I think there's nothing more tricky for a leader than HR and recruitment, right? That's you invest so much money. If you look at the whole value chain, how many people involved, your time, your investment. But at the end of the day, there is, to me, two things that are key. Are they sharing your vision? If they are sharing your vision, they'll be there for the journey. The journey may be 1 year, 2 years, but they'll be there to do and to put the brick into the wall. The second part is empowerment. As a leader, you need to empower them. If you're empowering them, you're training them. You may be sending them to Asia. You may be sending them to Los Angeles if they're happy, if they're lucky, for training. But you're doing it because they're worth the investment, because you believe in them. Not just believe in them for your own company and your project, but you believe that you can bring that employee, that worker, that young person to a higher level. And what better pride than to think, you know, that high flyer then in 10 years was once working for me and I was also a brick in his or her wall. Yeah. So it's a tricky juggle. Once you've said that, you've not said the whole story, because you need to do your day-to-day planning. But if you've built trust, if you're empowering people, they trust you and they want to be with you for the journey. They may not stay for more than 2 years, but they'll be committing. And that happens, I think, in the day-to-day relationship, in the trust that you build. But that trust cannot be built if they don't share your vision. And if they don't share your vision and they're asking you to leave after 6 months in-house and having benefited the training, you want to let them go, because you don't want to invest in that kind of people any further.
Thank you so much, Celine. Over to you, Olufisaya. Thank you.
Everything they've said. Now, yeah. So, gaining trust is a very big deal. I mean, the people who are married to their wives or their husbands and they don't trust them. So you can see the minds of people, right? But what you can do is at least communicate. You have this clear vision you want to pursue. Get that person's buy-in. And if you genuinely care about these people, you should not be concerned if you train them and they leave you. You shouldn't. I'll give you an example. This is jackpot season, right? I got a call from one of my colleagues. Oh, she just got an admission. My first response was, congratulations. Like, you don't come up for a year. You know, and then the next one was, oh, what do you need? Have you spoken to HR? I said, she just wanted to tell me first. I said, no problem. Just tell the HR, just plan how, you know, you're going to exit. And then she says, thank you very much. And then the next call I get from her is, oh, by the way, please, can you help me call this person in this bank? I need PTA. I'm not the master of your life. Do you understand? But I've made you believe that if you work with me, I can at least add 5% to your life that makes it better. So you trust me enough, call me to ask me, can you help me? Some people you will see the mail when they're at the airport, or once they touch down for Heathrow, they say, Motilo, you know, and that's it. What do you do? But this trust thing, right, I would say the industry suffered the most is the banks. And they brought it upon themselves. So the turnout rates, in the banks is crazy, because you can send you abroad to train. I was in Intercontinental Bank 2004 as an intern, and there was this guy they sent to America for training. And he was supposed to resume on a particular day because he's a very brilliant guy. And the guy goes, yeah, this place is nice. So I know you know, so I was the one that had to go and get, because he faxed his resignation. And that time, fax was still, I was the one that went to pick it. So the head of the department, don't tell anybody, don't tell anybody. That's it. You can't, what's the vision for him? He has looked at it. Where are we going? I'm chasing this position in this bank. Somebody can come from somewhere and maybe he likes, you know, somebody else, and they offer him, and then. So I prefer to talk about the tech and the fintech that I understand, because it's more intimate, right? You get to see these people every day. You ask them, how are you? Genuinely, how are you? Have you settled down? Before I came in here, I called the person. have you settled down? She just went this Monday. I asked, have you settled down? So I tell myself, see if I could help, I will help. But you have to, this journey, you have to go, you know. But that's it. You have to communicate with these people. You have to have a relationship, like you said. You cannot, even with your wife, you cannot be married to someone and then they don't see you.
And they don't talk, or you don't
They
talk
don't
to
talk.
them.
You understand? You don't talk to them. And how do you know they trust you? So you have to have a relationship with the people you work with. Genuine relationship, not the Nigerian, you know, there's no salary this month, but I'm in Dubai balling.
Beautiful. Thank you so very much for that. If I heard you clearly, you know, a leader should also be very kind. You know, I'd like to say one of the qualities that I've observed from all three of them. You know, I don't want to assume. I believe that they're very kind people, right? You'd agree with me, right? Thank you so very much for being kind and continue to be kind. You know, thank you so very much for that. Okay, so I have another question. Okay, and I think I'll direct this to Celine. Okay, I mean, Olufisaya said something about, you know, one of the decisions that he had to make, you know, was, you know, letting someone go. Not like he literally let the person go, but I mean, I can imagine how hard it would have been for him if that was one of his top performers at work, right? And then she calls and says she's having to go. Fine, you know, you let them go joyfully, but you know, that's quite tough. So to you, Celine, what are one of the hardest decisions you have made as a leader?
I think from the example you were talking about, I was thinking about that person actually. It's a similar example, only I pushed her out. So at the time I was working as a director of research in a business school, and I had this beautiful assistant. She had, and this is the trick also when building trust relationships, sometimes you can become close friends, and that's also a danger. She was great. She was fantastic. She was brilliant, but she was unhappy, and she had been unhappy for a long time. And I could see in her personality that research was just boring for her. She was not thriving in research. She was getting on with me. She was happy to be working with me, but she was not on her life path. Yeah. So I did everything I could to divert her towards the international school where you get to meet a lot of international students and it's a lot more lively. And that was the hardest moment of my career. But she started thriving and becoming a flying star in the business school. So when you do things like that, the assistant I recruited after that was terrible. And I had to also work as the assistant. But at the end of the day, when you do something like this, you know you've done it for not just for the person, but also for in that case, the business school. They had found the perfect person to lead on that project. So I think sometimes sometimes we panic when we hear someone is going to leave. Sometimes your best element will come looking at their shoes and they'll be like, oh God, you know, I never thought I would tell you that, but I've got this offer and I have to go. And you can feel it. You can feel the tears coming up and you can feel oh Lord, what are we going to do with this donor and that money and how are we going to spend? And you spend 2 nights not sleeping. But it's not that complicated really when you plan things ahead and you work with the people you have around you to actually make sure that everything is oiled and that you will get there. And there's always an amazing amount of resources in the people who stay. Once you start telling people, I will always have your back, whatever you do, but I need you to fly through walls, you see miracles.
Thank you so much, Celine. If I heard you clearly, one of the things Celine said was, you know, her ability to let people go. Right. You know, I mean, having to let that lady go was quite tough, but you had to do it anyways. And, you know, you saw through her that, you know, she had a path that she was going. So it's important that, you know, we also identify, you know, where people are going and be able to encourage them to get there. So well done with that, Celine. Thank you so much. Now I'll go to Olufisayo before I come back to Oreoluwa. As the founder and CEO of Advancio Interactive, How did you harness your leadership skills? Like, did you just become the, you're having to clear your throat for that.
Yes, yes.
How did you harness your leadership skills? How did you become, one of the CEO of one of the fastest growing fintech companies in Nigeria?
Okay. So I wasn't born a leader. In fact, I'm the last child. I was shy growing up. I stopped being shy in SS2 because one or two girls said they liked me. So
No, we didn't hear that clearly. Did you guys hear that? Because one or two girls said what?
I'll be honest, that's my turning point. SS2, I become senior, and then some people liked me. So I started looking at myself, people like me. So I started to become self-aware. Then I got into university. I wasn't the most popular person. I wasn't the leader of anything. I was your normal, regular guy, always at the back of the class. Nothing special with your grades, just there. But I always knew that I had to do something special in this world. So if you ask me as a child what I wanted to be, I started as a medical doctor. And that's because my uncle gave me this plastic kit. I thought I was going to be a medical doctor. Then at some point, the one that stuck was chairman. Chairman. So if you ask me, what do you want to be? Oh, I want to be a chairman. I want to have 13 cars. That kept going. At some point, I realized, I had to make this thing happen. For me to make this thing happen, I have to do something special. I have to pull myself away from the crowd, right? But this is me, nothing special, right? 2015, I started reading books. I hated reading growing up. If they didn't have pictures in it, I'm not reading. But I had to start reading. And the book that set me on that path is called Personal MBA. It's a book you should read. It actually helps you open up to reading more books. And I used to think to myself, they'll say, oh, Christians don't have problems. And I'm like, but other people have problems and they solve it. Do you understand? So I started looking at it like, this issue has been solved somewhere else. I'm not going to go through that person's experience, but I can read about it and learn from his mistakes, right? So I started reading a lot. And then when I wanted to start this business, I had to do self-assessment. I checked my skills. What do I know? What don't I know? I started out as a programmer. Programming was getting too hard. I moved to CISA. Then from CISA, I did project management. But all this while I was gathering knowledge. When it was time for me to start this business, I asked myself, what else did I need? I didn't know anything about financials. So I had to go and learn accounting. Just so that when the accountant is telling me something, I'm not just doing like, I understand you, and madam, that's not correct. You understand? So I had to build myself. This person that is not special. This person that could be missed, in the crowd and anything. I had to read books by people that have shaped the world, people that have made impact. And at some point, I couldn't read again. I started watching documentaries about these guys, just so that I understand how they solve the problem. These days, when I have some issues like in my head, I just go on YouTube and listen to, I don't know if you guys, YC founders, this stuff. No, the YC, they have this stuff that they discuss. You know it. You just listen to it. It's always just short nuggets. Just what? No, it's this black guy and this white guy. It's like
Craig Groeschel?
Yes, the podcast.
Craig and Mike Todd?
Yes.
All right.
So they sit down and then discuss. Just watch that stuff. People have made the same mistakes you've made. you don't need to make those mistakes again. Watching those things, for instance, I didn't understand how to speak with investors or the kind of things the investors want to hear. Or I always imagined investors knew your business more than you do. They don't. They don't know more than 10% of what they're doing. Because they just know enough to want to invest. Is it going to make money? But you have to build capacity. Right. Every role in my organization, I can play it. If you up and leave tomorrow, I will sit down and take your job. Accountant, no problem. I understand financial modeling to an extent. Do you understand? There's no HR. I'll ask job man, please, send us some CVs. You understand? So, and that didn't happen, immediately. It was conscious effort for me to say, I want to stand out. I want to be better. I want to be known for something special. And I started reading. So books.
Fantastic. Books, podcasts.
Books, podcasts.
Documentaries.
Learn from people. The people that have made this mistake, just
learn from them. Thank you so much, Olufisa. Please put your hands together for him. Okay, so before I come to Oreoluwa, because I have one deep question for Ore, I'd like to ask Celine this. I mean, you have quite a large percentage of women here. And I think I just want you to address leadership that has to do with women particularly. What does it mean to lead as a woman? Because, there are different interpretations where, some women are limited, because they're women, because of their gender, so they can't really take on certain roles. All right, what you have to say to a percentage of women here, what do they have to do, to actually lead and do everything that it takes to be, excellent leaders?
Run. That's always a difficult question, right? Because we know the debate, we know how difficult for some women it might be to access these posts. I was lucky enough never to be faced with any kind of discrimination or harassment or things that would block my career or lack of trust. I think, frankly, and I always prefer to walk away from this. And sorry if you may beat me up after this, but from the feminist type of talks, I think, what you've just said is very important. Keep a growth mind. Learning is not about being at school and then graduating and starting your career. It's about lifelong learning. If you keep on learning, if you keep having an open mind, and if you keep on just eating that knowledge every day, a bit more every day, you will be noticed. You will be headhunted. People will see you as a potential leader. I don't think you said I wasn't born a leader. I don't know that there's many people who were born a leader. Even the greatest leaders on this planet, I'm not sure they were born leaders. Some of us have a better fiber than others, but certainly what I can tell women most of the time, that's also true for some men, is that you have that kind approach to HR, to your human resources. And that has no price. You need to be careful with that careful line between what I was talking about earlier on, the friendship and what you need at work, but you need to have that careful juggle between that. And that's, I think, to me, that's an advantage. It could be tricky sometimes, but it's an advantage. But for women to become leaders, of course, I come from a different continent. I come from a continent where that battle was fought by my mom and my grandmother. I'm very aware that for some on this continent, it's not exactly the case. But that's a different battle, and that's a battle we need to keep on fighting together. That I'm talking as a feminist now. But when it comes to leadership and getting the access to those leader posts, it's about showing what you can do. There's nothing better than to be headhunted for a post and actually being there applying for it with 1,000 others. So stick out of the crowd, be kind, learn, keep on learning. Lifelong learning should be your motto wherever you go. And just grow yourself every single day.
So good. Thank you so much, Celine. Keep showing up, ladies. We keep showing up, we keep learning, and we keep getting better. Now, Oreolua, this is for you. How's your career journey so far impacted your leadership qualities? Have you always been the CEO of Jobberman?
Of course. In fact, I still so for a long time I struggled with imposter syndrome. So you know that you know what imposter syndrome is, right? You know what imposter syndrome is, right? So and so even as CEO of Jobberman, I still did struggle. So I was not CEO of Jobberman day one. But one thing I figured out is that my journey at every single, my experiences at every single career opportunity kind of modeled my uniqueness as a leader, right? And that is why as whatever you're going through in your different role or your current role right now is definitely going to be up of the ingredient that makes the unique you. Okay. So if I cast my mind back to, so I started as a first child. So probably that was my that was my first go at being a leader, and I learned there that you eat last. Leaders eat last. So as a first child of 3 boys, I mean, leaders eat last. You take responsibility for the broken TV, broken wall clock. You take responsibility because you are the leader, you are in charge, you know. I hated it. I hated it because I was the main child for just 2 years. So it felt weird. And all of a sudden I became, I was responsible for many things. So I really didn't like, I would typically run away from leadership opportunities because I'm like, I don't want to get in there, right? It's just fun when someone is telling you where to go. If it fails, it's your problem because you told us where to go. And that kind of pushed me into tech. So I studied electrical engineering in school, and I typically just wanted to be the back office guy, churning out results, and that's it. Then got out of school, became a software developer. Yeah, back office guy, same thing. But then for some, I guess, providence and also the fact that, fate, I don't know. I always, one thing we just kind of pushed me into the forefront, and I realized that I have this very interesting ability to inspire people, even people that older, more proficient, but I'm just able to kind of see a picture of something and I'm able to kind of inspire you and get you interested in it. For me, that was the unique thing. And as Jobberman as CEO of Jobberman, I was headhunted, so kind of like promoted into the role. And I realized that even though I felt like I didn't have everything to function at the moment, I kind of already have an element of everything, right, in my career path. So take note of what you are going through now. There is a unique lesson in your current situation. There is a unique lesson in your current situation because the combination of whatever you go through, the combination of your experience will make the unique you and will make you so fit to be the kind of leader you thrive or you succeed as.
Beautiful. So much, Aralua. We appreciate that. Okay, so I have this question, Celine, because I know she's going to run, she has to run very soon. This question are for the women. I actually have a WhatsApp message saying, how do you balance being a leader, showing up, being a mom and a wife?
So let me put this right. I'm not a wife, but I am a single mom of a child of 5. And someone here in the room tonight knows that I was struggling with the change of time tonight. So until about 2 p.m., I still didn't know whether I could be here or not. It's a struggle. It is a struggle. Being a mom with children, being a single mom is even more of a struggle. My son is 5 in December, so not even 5. I adopted my son in Burundi nearly 5 years ago. He came to me very, very, very young. So I had no intention of giving my child to someone else to bring up, right? Otherwise, what for? So it is a struggle, but you just have to be firm on your commitments. You have to know what your priorities are. What are your priorities? For me, it has always been, well, the last 5 years at least, because it wasn't so before, but my child and my career. As a mom, I can't say they're on the same level, because obviously if tomorrow something happens to my son, I will walk away from my career without even looking back.
Oh, wow.
But today he's in full health, and I can say they're both important. What do? I'm an unusual leader, maybe. I go to work at like 6:37. There's no one in the office. It's fantastic. I can get on with a lot of stuff. But I'm religiously out of the office at 5 because I want to spend 2-3 hours with him. I want to feed him. I want to play with him. I want to bathe him. If I have to go back, I go back. But that's how I do it. And that's what I say to all of my staff. And there's no wiggling around that. That's my religion. It's my son. So that's how I do it. Now, on the day-to-day level, it's not easy. I sometimes come back tired. I don't want to
See him.
Yes, that's it. I don't want to see him. But it's also very fulfilling, I think, for a child to see a mother being so powerful, I think we can say it, so involved in her work, so driven. It's inspiring, right? And it's also sort of lifting them up and inspiring them to actually go forward in life.
Beautiful. Thank you so very much, Celine, for all of the tips that we've heard from literally every one of you, from Oreolua, from Olufisayo, and from Celine. Okay, so I'd like us to move this quickly. I know that literally everyone here has questions, right? So we're going to take questions, all right, before I allow them to give their closing remarks. So if you have any questions, now is the time for you to speak, or forever hold your peace. Okay, beautiful. Please introduce yourself, tell us what you do, and get into it.
Do I start up?
Not necessarily.
Okay, so my name is Esther Hegbinoba. I work at a venture studio, which is just for like a startup consulting company. So we build early stage businesses. So we have a portfolio of 12 companies, and I do day-to-day for 3 of them. One prop tech, one fintech, and I also run the venture studio. Team of about 35 people, right? So I have a vast network of founders that I know personally. And one of the things I've realized is that their opinion on the perspective that the CEOs or founders or leaders have, they think they have with their employees, is a vastly different perspective of how they view their own relationship with you, right? So you see yourself as kind, compassionate, fair, you know, I do my best for my team and myself, and they're like, that's not how I see you, right? I see you as condescending, I see you as toxic, I see you as rude, micromanaging, right? And you allow me to do all the work, and you review the work and take the credit for the work that I did, right? And sometimes it's an oversight. Sometimes it's not, you don't do it intentionally because you want to put them down. It's not even, quick example. So I had a meeting with some fintech CEOs, I remember about 15 of them, and I had an assistant that sent each of them, about 35 of them, emails for that meeting. right? 15 of them showed up. Now, when we got on the call, my boss was like, "Oh, thanks. So I saw her for, arranging this meeting, and a team, and everybody has done such a good work." And then she was almost crying that it didn't even mention my name. I called all of them. I sent them emails. And I was like, I mentioned that team. I said, but you didn't mention my name. And I was like, okay, I'm apologizing on his behalf. I had to go and tell him that mentioned her name, well, she's not happy. Right. So he went back to the group and then said, "Oh, thank you to Geraldine. She did such a good work, and she deserves to be acknowledged for the work she's done." Because he didn't realize it was a thing, but with her, it was a very big deal that our boss mentioned her name for the work that she did.
Right.
Right. So my own thinking basically is, how do you bridge that gap of your experience working with people and then people's experiences of working with you? Because you mentioned good examples of someone going for masters. That's easy. I can tell you 3 months before, because I need my employer to sign a reference form. That's what I'm telling you. But if I'm getting a good job in Nigeria, I'm only giving you 1 month's notice. I won't tell you 3 months when I'm applying for that job, just so you don't fire me. So that I'm not going to tell you beforehand. So I don't know how to bridge that gap, but I feel that there's a gap between especially Nigerian employers' impression of their relationship with their own employees and how they think about their bosses.
So who'd like to take that? Okay.
Like I said, hello. Like I said, you can't read people's minds, right? If you genuinely care about people, this is Emmanuel here. If you can corner him later on and ask him how I am. I'm open. I've had them go over their supervisors to talk to me, and I'm like, this is not my headache. Why are you bringing this to me? You have 2 guys before you get to me. And they say, I can't talk to them. Why can't you talk to your supervisor? And that's my own problem. Because why have I put someone that they can't talk to? So I listen to them so that they don't give me headache again. I go and meet the supervisor. Okay, how far? What's really going on, right? And then Nigerians are not, we're the best people on earth, by the way. But we are different. You see, you can move mountains, right? For your people. And then there's somebody there. See, I'll give an example. We usually do this team bonding where we go out, we tell the ladies, because the ladies are so excited about these things. And they go, "Oh, we're choosing this place next. Let's go here. Let's hang out." They're excited. Accountant, HR, everybody plans it. And then you hear one guy, that money now, where it is, they just share up. You can't please everybody. You can't. You as a leader, you're thinking, "Oh, I'm doing team bonding."
You're going over and beyond.
And then somebody is saying, this money, they just waste time. Do you understand? Like, end of the year party, we went to a resort and somebody is saying, all this money safe. You are doing your best, but you can't please everybody.
Absolutely.
You can't. And don't let that bog you down. If you have a room of 100 people, 80 on your side, you're good. You are good. I'm telling you. Just make sure those 20% are out of the way, because they know how to poison the 80.
Negative energy spreads faster.
You watch them, you know them. Like, I know people that I'm waiting for their resignation. It's not a joke. Because sometimes when we come for NPR meetings or review meetings, and then I'm asking you a question, and then you say, "Oh, I've not checked this, your monthly goals, you didn't check it." And I'm like, "Okay, no problem. Have you done this? We'll move on." The next minute, I just go to the HR. "Please note this. If this continues next month, you put this person on performance improvement. If the person is not on performance, if the person fails, out. We are running a business. I cannot go and collect somebody's money in Abuja that wants to deliver one big project for you. And you, they are supposed to do the work. You've been faffing for a whole month. So I can't tell him that, "Oh, by the way, it's so here that is holding your 100 million naira project back." Do you understand what I'm saying? So you can't please everybody. Identify the people. Not everybody will follow you. I mean, look at the Bible stories now. Not everybody believed in Moses and his. Everybody will believe in you. Jesus, his disciples were not. Don't try it. You will kill yourself.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
So I just have one quote actually, and it's that kindness does not exclude or excuse accountability. Kindness, right, does not excuse accountability.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So you're kind, and you also need to hold people accountable.
There has to be a balance. Beautiful. Thank you so very much for that. Do we have any more questions? Any more questions? Or will you take one more? Okay, beautiful. Yes, we'll take your question, please. Okay.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for sharing. And we've learned a lot. But I just want to go back to something you mentioned earlier. How do you really manage relationships in such a way that when people are going, you are not angry? So there's this thing with employers. When they tell you to go, there's no problem. But when you bring your letter, there's war, World War II. You're not wondering, why are we fighting? Why are we quarreling? Why are we angry? You know, and I'm wondering, this person has probably served you for 10 years, and this person wants to, so there's this fear of, like she said, if I tell you, you will be angry. If I don't tell you, you will still be angry. So I'm just choosing which one is the better one in the two that I can manage, that there will be no war, but there will still be war. Now, if there's a good relationship, it's easier, and they tell you can plan and you can arrange. And I'm just wondering, we can still relate and do stuff. We don't have to quarrel. So how do we really manage it in such a way that we're not going angry, we're still going well, and we can still do things again, especially for the owners of companies? You know, it just looks like you have to be there forever, and we know that this person can't be here forever. How do we manage it?
Beautiful. Celine, do you want to take that?
Oh, very briefly, I'll say, paternalistic management is over. It belongs to another era. So those employers can take responsibility for those behaviors. What I always say to anyone, whether it's staff or whether they're friends or whatever, is always behave professionally. And be professionally means that you have to give advance notice. You have to make sure that your employer knows, that your manager knows, that you hand over notes, that you're preparing the person that is coming maybe in the interim to take over what you were doing. Once you do that, you will always be able to look at yourself in the mirror. And in a couple of years' time, even if your employer is angry today, he will always remember, or she will always remember, your professional behavior. Or he wasn't happy. And when he or she needs you and you need that job again, you'll get it. But if you've left and sent that email from the airport, you won't. That's it, you're gone. You're not professional. Always behave in an ethical manner. You'll be fine with that.
Angry.
So I'll just quickly add to what you're saying. So it also depends on you as a person. You have to genuinely care. I'm stressing this because the Nigerian way of doing things is Oga apprentice. Do you understand? And you have this person that has worked for you for 7 years, but you still feel this person has to revere you all the time, all their life. You still feel, I made this person. You want to always, you need to check yourself as a human being. It's you. It's you. I mean, you can let people go and be happy. But like you said, if the person left in a professional way, there's no blowback for that person. I did the right thing. You said I should give you 2 months. I gave you 2 months. If you're not angry, you're a bad person. And then the world knows you're a bad person. You understand? It's simple.
Beautiful. Thank you so very much for that. Oroluwa, do you have anything you want to say to that?
You've said it all.
Pretty much everything everyone has said. We really appreciate your time here. One of our takeaways from here would be to build yourself. I like that, Oroluwa, about being self-aware. Thank you. About being self-aware. Okay, thank you so much, Oroluwa, on that point. We really appreciate that. I like the point of view from Celine about sometimes becoming close friends with your bosses. Not like, you have to rub it in their faces, but, take it one step at a time. And particularly, understanding, I think for me, people are on a journey with you, sometimes very long time, right? So you don't have to, be here forever. Understand that they share your vision and for just a period of time. Hello. Okay, beautiful. And then another thing Oluwa said was, I'm sorry, another thing Fisaya said was read books, read books, be very, very, very knowledgeable about, your career path, be very knowledgeable about your career paths. Okay, so they're going to leave very shortly, but I know that you all have parting words that you want to give to literally every single one of us. And I'd like you to touch on this question as you give us your parting words on, do you take feedback as a leader? And then is there a style of feedback that you take? If yes, do you want to share with us? And if no, do you want to share with us as well?
All right. So as a leader, it's important to take feedback. Why? Because what is constant is that your vision may be constant, but the people that will get you there it's a revolving door, right? So you may always have to work with different people at different times. So it means that as a leader, it's important to have feedback as your mirror. The reason why you check the mirror is so that you have feedback of, this is what I look like, and then you can then course correct and change. And the mirror is the most blunt feedback system that we have, because it shows you exactly what you look like. You can make it easy, and I think the best way to do that is to put structures for how to receive feedback. So personally, when I receive feedback, I always try to disconnect the person from the feedback so that it is objective and it sounds in my ear as being as objective as possible. So even if the person says it in a sweet way or in a not sweet way, I always disconnect the person from the feedback, because the feedback is the feedback. The how can be discussed, right? But the feedback is the feedback. So as a leader, please check the mirror. And your mirror is that feedback. Yeah.
Thank you. So yes, to me, feedback and feed forward is very, very important. And I always encourage my staff to feed forward, because in the United Nations, we obviously have all these very sophisticated processes about giving feedback. We do performance evaluation 360, where you're evaluated by everyone from your peers to your superiors to the doorman. Anyway, but this is feedback, right? This is a moment where I come to you and I say, what do you think about your boss? Or what do you think about, I go to a superior and ask them to give you feedback and evaluate your performance. It's cold-blooded, it's thought about, it's analyzed. What I believe in is every day, every second, dialogue and feedback and feed forward. Feed forward. What have I done today that you did dislike, or what have I done today that you appreciated? Don't wait for that moment where we'll all be sitting there thinking, what have I done this year? Or what have I done in the last 6 months? Be dynamic about the feedback and the feed forward, and give it back to me too, because I'm Celine. I'm not the yoga at the top. I'm just one of you. We're part of a team. So that is super important to me, and it avoids those moments, those awkward moments Because if you're telling someone they're not performing on a day-to-day level and that they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing because they're not looking at their objectives, they know. They either pick up and do something about it, you guide them, you support them, you empower them with what they may be missing, the training they may be missing, the understanding they haven't got, but they know on a day-to-day there will not be any blow when you actually measure the performance. So to me, it's very important, and I love it when my staff gives me feedback, because that mirror, that leadership post at the top is very lonely, very, very lonely. So it's very important also to have that feed forward and that feedback.
Hello? Yeah, I think this works. Once again, everything they've said. Plus, so for me, the way I look at feedback is don't just make it the subordinate to the leader. Also do a peer review. So you might think this person is making sense in their feedback. But when you ask their project manager or their line manager or their peers, you also get feedback from them. So that way you can get a 360 understanding of what's really going on. That guy might just be a lunatic, might be, you might not know. But when you ask someone you're working with every day, I won't see everything, but the people you sit next to can tell whether you're working or not. We are guys, but when they call one of them into the room, I say, what do you think about this person? They will tell the guy, this guy doesn't work. My project is always lagging behind because of this guy. It's my guy, we drink, but he doesn't get the job done. So it's not enough to do, but also make sure your HR sometimes takes the pulse of everybody. And then, like he said, don't put a name to it. Just get your feedback. It's not everything you will take to heart anyway. But you see what that does is when they give you feedback, you can give them feedback. But if you're always telling them, you're not working. But if you give them the opportunity to tell you what you are doing wrong, then you get more mouth to go back to them. Then I think that's it. And lastly, as the leader, to have friends that can check you. So you might be the Lord and Savior in your office, but when you step out, ask someone else, am I doing this right? There are other older people that have achieved stuff in Nigeria. Just ask them, I have this issue. What did I handle it correctly? Or could I have done better? It's very important that you have that system that can check you. I think that's it for me.
Sorry, please put your hands together for them. Has it been worth it or worth it? Like, if you enjoyed the session, I need to get some energy. Put your hands together for them. Thank you so very much for your time with us. Okay, so before I let you go, because I know, we have come to the end of our panel session, right? So before I let you go, I have a note with you guys. Okay, and I just want you to open it and tell us something remarkable that happened to you on that specific date of the year. So you're going to tell us what date that is and what happened to you on that date. So Orelua, over to you. Well, why are you squashing your face now?
So I'm trying to remember, right? So I've got February 14th, 2019. Well, I was home, right?
What was that remarkable thing that happened to you February 14th, 2019?
Well, I was engaged then already. Yeah, so I was engaged for her. So my fiance then, I think we fought actually.
Can you put your hands together? He actually said on February 14th, 2019, he and his fiancée fought. That's such a remarkable day that he can never forget. For him to remember it, that means, it's remarkable. Celine, I see you scratching your head like, what's going on? 2020. What happened in 2020?
COVID.
COVID? Beautiful.
COVID, but just to illustrate that COVID or anything dramatic like this in the world doesn't stop us from thriving professionally. Is the year I also moved to UNICEF HQ in New York. So
Oh, it's
good
the year
year.
you also moved.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So that's a remarkable thing. Fisayo, what year?
May 2022.
What happened?
Um,
Fisayo is having to check his calendar.
yes,
Was that when you got an award?
nothing happened.
No.
I can see, okay, 4 people celebrated birthday on May 5 in my office. Then I went for lunch with my wife. That's all.
All right, put your hands together again for them. Thank you all so much for your beautiful time with us. It's been worthwhile. It's been inspiring. And trust me, it has been motivating. I'm sure everyone here, is inspired to do better. So I'd like to call Oge. Okay, please put your hands together for Oge. She's the head of marketing, looking all pink and beautiful. Oge, you're welcome. Okay, Oge has a gift for all of our speakers here. Thank you all so much. We don't do, there's something Jobberman said that they do premium, events. So we have premium gifts to give to our panelists. Okay.
Thank you so much for honoring our invitation this evening. I hope you had a good time. So we have something very small to give you, saying thank you again. And we hope to see you at our next networking mixer, right? All right.
Thank you. Put your hands together, guys. Can we have some soft music, please? Soft music, just something soft in the background. Thank you, Celine. Soft, bring it down, please. And we're about to give the giver of the gift a gift. The CEO of Jobberman is about to receive a gift. So Celine said, this is cheating, all right? Because Oreoluwa is getting a present from himself. Like he's giving himself a gift. Oh, he doesn't know what's inside. Beautiful. Okay, so we'd like all 3 of you to please stand up. Oh God. Somebody has to say, that Celine said something about showing up, about how your children will be proud of you when you're showing up. So this picture is for my generation. It's for my children's children yet unborn. So let me put the mic down. It is Fade Kemi with the beautiful voice and Oge of marketing. Thank you so much. Thank you so very much. So I'd like to excuse our panelists. Thank you also. But before I let you go, I want you to just take pictures together. Yes. Can we have the photographer, please? Okay, move close. Thank you so much. Please, can we put our hands together as we let them off the stage? Thank you so much, Oreoluwa. Thank you so much, Celine. Thank you so much, Olufisayo. Okay, please keep putting your hands together for them, please. Thank you. Okay, so guys, I want you to stand up, stretch your legs. You've been sitting down for about an hour now, haven't you? My green lady, you know I'm on your matter. Okay, please, Onyola, how far now? I said you should stand up. That's the time you decided to sit down. Eh? Can we please stand up? Stand up. Hello, sir. Hi there. Please stand up, stretch your legs. Make sure you're looking at someone. No, we're not telling you to go yet. Oh. We're going into the networking proper, guys. We're going into networking proper. And one of the reasons why you're here is to actually network.
She goes out to the man on the street. He can see she's been crying. She's got blisters on the soles of her feet. She can't walk, but she's trying.
Beautiful. Okay, so guys, we're going into networking properly. I want you to look at your neighbor and say, hello, neighbor. Hello, neighbor. Are you telling your neighbor, hello, neighbor? I promise to be dependable at work. Make a commitment to your neighbor. Tell them, I promise to be dependable at work. Now, one of the reasons why you're here, okay, is to build wealth. And you know, one thing I've come to understand is, you know, Yorubas will say something that Eni Olashobora, right? People are, how do you say it in English? All right. But the, you know, essence of us being our people, right? You know, so don't be a gatherer of just money, be a gatherer of men. So today you're here to connect with people that you haven't met before. All right. Build better connections. You know, tell them what you do, get to know what they do, and you really never know where someone will put in a word for you. One of the reasons why I can do this is because someone put in a word for me, all right? And so if I was such a bad person, you know, or someone who didn't care, no one would put a word. So, you know, get to know them, interact with people, build better connections, eat and enjoy. And then we have beautiful things there for you to, you know, nibble on. We have cocktails, we have, where's Cookie? We have cocktails, we have small chops, we have finger foods, we have a variety of things for you to enjoy. So please let your hair down. It's Friday. There's no email to send on Saturday, except for those who do. Hello, ma'am. She's still sending an email. So today's Friday. Let your hair down. Enjoy yourself. Don't be in a hurry to go home. There's traffic. Okay, so, you know, enjoy yourselves and have a great time. Till I come your way again, my name is Kaka, and I'm your host with the most. Thank you for having me. Have a good night.
She's my baby, she's my girl, she's my world. Rolling down the road, rolling down the road again, searching for my. And down the road, searching for my girlfriend. She's my baby, she's my queen, she's my queen. Rolling down the road, rolling down the road, searching for my. Inside, take off your clothes, make you feel at home. Let's pull it down somewhere, 'cause I know we're all in. Stop indeed. So just something good to me. 'Cause I'm inside you, baby, you can make it fast to me. You make me feel real good. We can do it too. Wake up. Only thing that matters in my life. Stand up for you and treat you right. Got no code to treat me good as fine. Tell me what does it take to get you in the mood? Show me what you like to do to make it see that I'm the one who makes you like standing on the dance. I'm making it so serious, I'm the dance. I'm the one. I'm the one. Sugar baby. I'm the one. I'm the one. Tell me what does it take?
It's like I can't keep myself. I can't keep myself. I can't keep myself. Allow me to flex. It's like I can't keep myself. I can't keep myself. I can't keep myself. Allow me to flex. Many years me I done the go. Rock the mic, me I rock the show. Many hit songs when I go. Still them go say me I know they try. I see them complain of Kanye West. And speaking mind the people best. Everybody wants to be the best, but the world can do without the best. I can still need you. Nobody did that you. I say I follow my car. Glad for her. You think good of an you do them like films. This time I can't keep myself. I can't keep myself. I can't keep myself. Allow me to flex. This life I can't keep myself. I can't keep myself.